Come on in, come on in, come on in. Let's talk about it. Listen, Oregon is lost in the sauce. UCLA is lost in the sauce. Come on in. Let's talk about it. Brian, what's up, man? What's going on? Brian, what's the word? Orange Groove, what's going on? Absolutely. We got to take care of business, man. Terry T, what's going on? We got to talk about it. Come on in, everybody. Let's talk about all those who are lost in the sauce. Let's talk about it. We got to talk about USC in Colorado. What's going on? We got to talk about USC in Colorado, but we've had a catastrophic event that took place last night. It's a magnitude earthquake of an 8.4 that took place last night, and we got to talk about this. Listen, it was a magnitude 8.4. Come on in. Let's talk about it. Man, come on in. Hey, we better be number 6. We better be Big J. What's the word, brother?
Man. Happy Victory Sunday.
This is victory.
Let's go, brother.
I'm telling you.
I'm having me a celebratory Krispy Kreme up in
here.
Hey,
man. Hey, we can get Krispy Kreme. We can get some fried chicken, some chicken and waffles. Hey, let's go and get it. Hey, listen. Hey, all those, and I got receipts, and I kept these receipts. Joe Clark, well, I'm not even gonna don't let me. All these major outlets.
No name dropping.
No name. I'm not gonna drop it. Hey, all these major outlets that was talking all this stuff about USC, and listen, this goes to prove what took place last night. USC, listen, they playing against. Remember we talked about on one of the shows. I was talking about Jaden Delore and how explosive he was and how he was. Man, listen, I seen Jaden Delore last night. He looked like Randall Cunningham, Steve McNair. He looked like all these guys rolled up in one last night, and I could not believe what I was seeing. The guy was rolling out the pocket, and he looked absolutely ridiculous. Listen, he made DTR look. I mean, DTR was doing his thing, but man, I'm telling you, this proves that USC was playing top competition, man. Just because some of those guys didn't have wins, they were playing against some guys. Those receivers, as we talked about. They were doing it, man. What's your initial thoughts? We got to talk about Colorado, but we got to talk about this first.
It's kind of a double-edged sword for me because I really wanted, unfortunately, our crosstown rivalry game this upcoming week to have a little more weight on it. You know, I did want the potential for a Pac-12 championship matchup against a very, very top-ranked Oregon team to be, you know, a little more illustrious, if you will. But at the end of the day, the ball bounces how it's supposed to bounce. And all you got to do is win, baby, win. When you continue to win, you allow for the natural biorhythmical patterns of the college football landscape to play out, because some of the top teams struggled again this week all across the country, and the Pac-12 is again notorious for cannibalism, eating itself, in the sense that the best teams can lose to mediocre teams. The lower tier teams can rise up and beat the number one team, because these conference games in this Pac-12, there's just so much familiarity with one another, and there's so much at stake with all these intersectional, interregional rivalries here on the West Coast. These kids, these young athletes really like to play hard against their friends. And you got a whole roster, like I said, when Arizona came to California, a large majority of their roster are from Cali.
Absolutely.
When we played Arizona, we got the best version of Arizona up until that point. And I think that Arizona team that showed up against us played better than the one that just beat UCLA last night. I really
Oh
believe.
man, yeah, they were at home, so it was
Right.
and the crowd was more hostile opposed to that crowd last night.
I agree. So congratulations to the Wildcats. Y'all definitely bear down. Congratulations to the Huskies. Y'all showed up and did what you
Man, they handle business, man.
done that year after year after year, man.
Yeah.
You got Oregon's recipe. You got the the Hassan Pfeffer, the duck a la carte, from old you remember the old Bugs Bunnies cartoons? Yeah, man.
Yeah.
See, I probably just aged myself out with that, but
Hey, it ain't no fun when the rabbit got the gun.
ain't no fun till the rabbit got the gun. Yeah, that's absolutely right. So I did want Oregon to still be highly ranked.
Yeah.
I did want UCLA to be highly ranked, but that's more playing defense, in my opinion.
Right.
The offensive side of this thing is, hey, look, if Oregon's out of the top, we need to move down and start to replace them. So that puts us close in the national standings with regards to the playoffs. So yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Let me I see a couple people addressing this real quick. Travis died, and I want to say prayers up as well. I had a live direct immediately after the game on Friday, and once I did that live, I kind of talked about Travis Dye. I feel like Travis Dye was the we're gonna get back to this other stuff, but I don't wanna go too far without addressing Travis Dye. Travis Dye, in my opinion, is Eric Gentry of the offense. He's the leader of the offense and has that same leadership ability. He was the player coach. And so listen, man, big up to Travis Dye, man. We appreciate everything that you've done. You've been a leader, you've been a player coach, you've been a great example, man, and showed exactly how it is to be done as an athlete, as a player. You kept yourself professional, man. And we want to say big ups to you, man. We hope you get well soon and got much prayer. You lifted up in prayer, big time, man. Anything you want to say on that, John?
Yeah, Travis, man, that was devastating to see you in that situation. I mean, you handled it like you handle everything with class, with grace, with composure, with dignity, with respect. And the footsteps that you've laid here in the college football world over your career will never be washed away. You will always be in the record books for the productivity that you've had, for the strong leadership and the continence by which you played this game with. And there is no one who can say a negative thing about you and allow it to be honest, because I've just heard nothing but remarkable positive responses of who you've been as a man in this league, what you've done, and how you've helped your teammates. So, congratulations on a wonderful college career. I pray that you start to, allow your mind to massage itself into the next phase and what that looks like. And prayerfully, we'll see you wearing an NFL shield on your chest if your heart so desires. And congratulations on a beautiful career, Travis Dye. We salute you, Trojan brother. Now your team needs that leadership, and those younger running backs between Raleek and Barlow, they need your guidance as well. So let's continue to do what we do and let's fight on.
Absolutely, absolutely. Now we appreciate that, man. And now we got on Oregon and UCLA for a minute. We stayed on that, but let's get to Colorado. We want to break this down a little bit. Some of the things that while we're on Travis Dye, we found out a lot about our team when Travis Dye went down. And while we didn't want to see that injury, we got a chance and an opportunity to see Darwin Barlow and Austin Jones. And man, look, man, I'm gonna tell you something. I don't know which one, and Raleek Brown. I don't know which one I like. I mean, more than the other. I mean, when you look at with Barlow, how he was running, his style, he was running with power. Then you see Austin Jones running with speed and power, and then you see Raleek. Just, of course, we're gonna utilize all of them. Man, I'm just thinking like, wow, this thing really kind of opened up when you looked at this run game, and I came back after this game more excited about what's going to take place this weekend and how we can utilize. And one thing I did notice at the Oregon and Washington game, did you see on that last drive, Oregon burning all that clock and how they were pounding the ball? I feel like we can do that with Barlow. I feel like that hit my mind last night. I said, wait a minute,
right?
We got to pound the ball like that. What's your thoughts on that?
I couldn't agree more. And I think you have three backs that give you a completely different flavor of offensive skill. And so it's tough as a secondary, as a linebacking core, and as a defensive line to get a rhythm with all sorts of running backs. Like when USC was in its prime, we used to have running back by committee. We really did. We've always had kind of like a 2 to 3 tier running back attack. And I believe this gives light and open up the doorway for that type of a scheme, especially because we haven't done that all season. And so I think that might be a nice little wrinkle to add into the offensive game plan that forces their defense, meaning whoever we're going to play, to make adjustments that they haven't seen this season. I like that. And I really loved how our backs stood up and recognized the significance of that moment and that opportunity. And so, you know, it was like the Eminem 8 Mile song. If you only got one shot, do not miss your chance to blow, because opportunity comes in once in a lifetime. So I did think all of our backs, they did lose their self in their moment. Name a time where we had 3 running backs score a touchdown in a game.
And they all added something different, man. That's what I really liked about it.
Yeah, I agree. So let's go. Let's go. I mean, you know, sometimes these are tough lessons to go through, but you know, a lot of times they can lead to your blessings. And this adversity could be the reason why you develop perseverance. And also it was like you can tell how much these guys galvanized behind Travis's injury, unfortunately, but it lit a spark and we pretty much dominated them from that moment on.
Yeah.
At the end of that second quarter, coming back into the second half, like we decided to like finally put somebody away, like put them out of their misery. Let's do this and let's get our other players who haven't had that many reps. Let's get these guys in there so we can go, so we can continue to develop this team as an entire unit. And so I love to see that.
Yeah,
I hate how it happened, but I love to see.
Yeah, I hate how it happened as well.
The responsiveness of our team. Yeah.
But I kind of equate that to 2 things. I equate that to one, the team rallied behind Travis Dye being hurt, and those guys played angry and said, "Look, my brother was hurt. He was on the field. You know, he got carted off in the stretcher. As a result, man, we're gonna go out there and play like something serious, man." I equate that to that, and both, you know, I equated to we just those guys had an opportunity and they capitalized on it. So now we get to see their talents and their abilities, and we get to. So to me, it's kind of like a twofold deal out of that, man. And so we really, I think we can appreciate the backs going out there and do what they got to do. So let's talk about the offense first, because early on in this game, the offense, man, I did not know what I was watching in the first quarter. It was hard. It was very hard to watch. I'm not sure the communication of what, but like I told them the other day on a live, I said, let's just throw that first quarter away. We don't have to deal with it. I know, because I text you, I think, because you were you on the field or were you in the stands?
This game, I did not go down the field level. No, I stayed.
Okay.
I stayed in the stands, and then I watched a lot of the game from, it's called Club 1923, the very top of the Coliseum, and just watched it, and I was just miserable up there that first quarter. Like I was miserable. Yeah.
It was just hard to figure out, man. It was hard to figure out. But once they broke through the second quarter, it seems like let me ask this too, because I kind of wanted to in your opinion, it's no right or wrong answer, but it just seems like when Caleb Williams had other receivers involved, like Michael Jackson, Taj Washington, and Kyle Ford, to me, this is just my observation. To me, it seems like he was kind of more free just to go. And as a result, he's had more yardage than he's ever had, prior to those other guys getting hurt. But it seemed like once they came back, I just got to give it to you how I'm seeing it. Once they came back, it just seemed like he was it seemed like he was kind of forcing it at first. And I don't know. What do you see from that, man? I'm not saying that's how it is, but what are your thoughts on that? It just, and why, in your opinion, do you think Michael Jackson wasn't as involved? Because I feel like he should have really been involved from get-go. 5 receptions last week, 115 yards. I did not understand that.
Yes, that it seems to show up a little bit with some of his, what we're gonna call him, his initial premier receivers. It does seem to show up. Again, it might be a a testament to like Caleb still understanding the dynamics of being a leader and also the facilitator of the football. And I know that he is actually a player's quarterback. You know, you've heard of that term, player's coach,
Right.
player's quarterback, in that he's like, I'm gonna get you your touches. I'm gonna get you your numbers.
Yeah.
I know this is your bag too. Like when you eat, I eat. So I'm going to consciously make certain that we're all involved. And I think he really does have that type of a philosophy as a quarterback. I can see that in him. So I know Jordan Addison coming off of what 2-3 games nearly without being able to have productivity is on his conscious mind. Like,
Yeah, he wanted to get that to him. Yeah.
I gotta get you involved early, get you some touches so we can get you in the rhythm and you can, feel a part of this process. And I cannot. It baffles me why I didn't see Michael out there a lot more.
Yeah.
It does baffle me. However, we don't know the nuances of what guys are going through because this team doesn't speak about injuries, and that's
Right.
something I think. So we can all speculate, but what I can see is, yes, it seems like Caleb has a little more freedom when like all of his alternative receiving options are out there. He plays
Right.
a little more free, and
Yeah.
I don't know if that's a sign of maturity, if it's something that they, kind of worked out before the game, or if it's something that they're talking about in the huddle pre-snap. Like, hey, if I see you on this matchup, I'm going to get it to you because I know that guy can't work with you. There's so much that we just don't know, and
Yeah.
sometimes it doesn't work out, and a lot of times it does. So it's hard for us to question the efficiency that Caleb is going through. I would, however, love to see on those deep balls. I would love to see our receivers get long with their
Yeah.
arm and not try to
Absolutely.
body these.
Instead of catching with your body, you never catch with your body, man. You always catch
Yeah,
with your hands, man. And
yeah,
but at the end of the day, man, Caleb is Caleb, and he really he just he's showing why he needs to be. And let me tell you this, I could not understand for the life of me watching that Oregon game. They put up the high man. I tell you, I was so they put up Heisman, they put up the Heisman favorites. And they did not have Caleb Williams on there yet last night. And I said, man, this is the craziest thing I have ever seen in my entire life. Caleb has proven, man, to be a winner. He's proven to be, I mean, the guy, Lord, please don't let him get hurt, but he just seems to be so flexible and able to move around in the pocket. And he just continues to move and groove, and he continues to make great decisions and continues to impress, man. What's your thoughts on that?
narratives are real. Narratives, because people believe what they hear and see.
Yeah,
Believe what they hear and see, especially when it's being reported to them. It's not a lot of the world are investigative. The world
exactly.
world in and of itself does not have a very investigative nature. We are more so people designed overall, the population of humanity are more designed to take instruction and to take leadership. Is we've been programmed, especially in this country, to sit at a place and be dictated to and then do something according to these rules and guidelines. So if a lot of people are saying this is what it is, this is what it is, this is what it is, whether you know that to be truth or not, because you're hearing it so much, is being programmed that way. That's what narratives do. That's the truth. And so when I see this narrative being pushed on quarterbacks that aren't deserving, as deserving as others, it's like that is the narrative that they want. But we just gotta, you have your research tools available.
Yeah,
Let's look at what the truth is. Because there are some quarterbacks that have more passing yards, some quarterbacks that have more touchdowns thrown or touchdowns accounted for. But at the same time, the competition isn't the same always. The circumstances aren't the same always. The weapons of utilization aren't the same always. So there's so
right.
many variables that do need to go into factor when it comes to this. And I saw our starting quarterback make a strong case for himself by rushing for 2 more touchdowns and
Yeah,
throwing 3. He accounted
yes,
for 5 accumulative touchdowns. Anytime you do that in any college game, you have to be in consideration for Heisman. Name a person that can account for 5 to 6 averaging nearly 5 touchdowns a game. That's
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
with legs and feet across multiple weapons of offense. It's not just one guy getting all these touchdowns for you.
Absolutely. And then you talk about the interception. Now, he did have one, but coming into the game yesterday or Friday, he only had one interception. And when I looked at all these other Heisman guys, these candidates, I looked at C.J. Stroud, looked at his interceptions. Bo Nix looked at his interceptions, which was like 5 coming into the game last night. And all these other guys. And then you looked at Caleb. Caleb numbers, as far as Caleb numbers compared to DTRs, compared to, you guys go look it up, compared to Bo Nix, compared to all those guys in the Pac-12, except Jaden Delore. I think Jaden Delore is the only one that has more yards than him, but he has a high interception rate. His interceptions is like, I don't know, it's maybe 8 or 9 or 10, something like that. But Caleb only had one interception. Now, he did get one through Colorado. So, I mean, they don't even consider that and consider the yardage that he has. You know, I just don't understand what they looking at, man. And if it's a bias thing, or, you know, it's amazing how they put Bo Nix up when he came from the SEC. And I'm not taking nothing away from him because, man, he was, you know, last night he looked pretty explosive on his feet when I seen him playing. And but you know, you just gotta take the whole body of work and put it in there, man, because turnovers is what causes individuals to lose games. Now, they did, some individuals overcame those turnovers. What's your thoughts on that? Putting those turnovers in there.
They do need to factor turnovers in. It can't just be about offense.
Yeah.
It has to be about how well you protect the ball as well.
Yeah.
Not only that, but like, how important are you to your team? Can your team survive without you? I think that matters. Like, I don't see USC winning as many games as we have if our quarterback is down.
And it's impossible. No way.
That's the same with most starters, right? Most starting
right.
But man, it's so tough because I'm seeing what's happening in the media, and I want to hear what they talk about going into this week. Because somebody said, yeah, Caleb had a quiet game. He had a quiet game, but he accounted for 5 touchdowns.
5 touchdowns, yeah.
He rushed for 2 and ran for 3. Do you mean he had a quiet game because he only threw for 260-something yards? Well, the fact is you don't need to throw the ball when you can run it as effectively as we did. And having that awareness and understanding of, I know how to navigate this game, and I know when to hand it off, and I know when I need to pitch and catch. And then I know when I need to tuck it and run. Those are all things that help manage a game and keep injuries to a minimum. And then lastly, and most importantly, it helps you be strong going into the tail end of a season. So I think Caleb needs a lot more acknowledgement for his game management at this stage in the season.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So we're going to move on to the defense. And Caleb, he went for 14 for 26, 268 yards, 3 TDs that were actually thrown. And, of course, the 2 TDs that he actually ran in. So you're absolutely right. He accounted for 5 TDs. Now, we talked about the offense. We're going to move on to the defense. And a couple of things I want to address before we talk about our actual defense and looking at some of the competition that we played. Arizona, who beat UCLA last night, and we've seen UCLA on their heels. We also seen last night Oregon on their heels. I wonder if that same energy is going to be expressed, how all these national media guys were making, and me and you talked about it. Everybody talked about Alex Grinch. We addressed this, and they felt like, why is it? Can we just give credit to the offenses that are in this league, that they are very explosive and that they're hard to contain? I don't care which team you are, whatever team you are, you're gonna. You seen Washington, that quarterback Michael Penix was throwing all over Oregon last night, and it looked absolutely insane. Oregon could not stop them at all. Is anybody gonna bring up that and keep that same energy? John, what's your thoughts on that before we get into our defense?
No, they're not going to keep that same energy. No, because the narrative that you run with, the baton that the media has given the country to run with, is USC's defense sucks. And USC is only as good as their defense and all this. And they've given up 500 yards a game in the last 3 games. Well, I can find probably 50 to 80 teams in the country on any given week that are also doing the same thing. The game is offensive oriented as it is, right? Especially on the West Coast. So how I see it is they're going to continue to protect Oregon because, and by they, I mean the Pac-12 media representatives.
Right.
The Pac-12 media representatives need Oregon to still be a national brand because it doesn't necessarily behoove the Pac to continue to highlight a USC and a UCLA, knowing that we're 1 foot in and 1 foot out. So it needs Utah to stand strong. It needs Washington to stand strong. It needs Oregon to stand strong. It needs these teams, Oregon State, to be like very good brands that people are rooting for, and also in the top 5, or I'm sorry, the top 20 to top 25 teams in the country. So yeah, you're not going to hear much credit or acknowledgement for USC this week, but you might hear like, well, that's the beauty of the Pac-12 is that on any given Saturday, one team can beat another team. They'll say things like that. They'll spin it because if it was honest, you would have heard on these games, I don't know if Oregon could match up with a USC. I don't know if Oregon could actually hang with a top-ranked Trojans team. I don't know if Utah, if they make it back to, I don't know if they can win on a neutral ground. You will hear these types of things. I don't know if UCLA can actually beat USC. They're saying UCLA is going to handle us all season.
All season until last night. And we're not, let's get this straight. We're not taking anything away from Oregon. We're not taking nothing away from UCLA because they are big time. And yes, we absolutely got to pay attention to be focused this week. We could lose this game if we're not careful, but we got to be focused. But here's the deal. It's the narrative that they put out there to make it seem like USC has no reason to be in the top 10 and USC defenses. I mean, I've heard this all week. USC defense is terrible. It's miserable. It's terrible. How are they? Now everybody else has got an opportunity to see that it's just not USC. They're dealing with some big time athletes. What you think, John?
You're right. Let's just leave it at that. You are right. Listen to the things that are not being said more than the stuff that is being said. Listen to the teams that get a lot of accolades for efforts that don't seem they're like good football efforts, but they inflate them like it's just the most amazing thing, right?
Yeah.
And then you always hear with USC, it feels like you always hear like a double-tongued response, meaning they'll be like, USC's on pace to have a very strong winning season, and then right after that it'll be a little bit of shade. But that defense is questionable. So but why can't you just let well in well? Say something nice and leave it. Don't say something nice for the first 5 seconds of your broadcast, and then for 4 minutes talk about why USC sucks or why we can't do it, why we don't deserve to be in the top this, why this team is supposed to be ranked ahead of us, even though nationally we started ranked above them, and then they worked their way down. Now all of a sudden they're supposed to leap us, even though we've never matched up or played one another. Like, those are the types of things that it's like, this narrative is remarkable. And it is biased, yeah.
So now let's talk about we talked about the defense. We talked about the offense, but now let's get on the defense. There were some great things that I've seen. Number one, I've seen Thule, man. My God. Thule he's the nation's leading sack leader. Look, I see all these comments coming in from it looked like from some Big Ten guys that said, listen, I want you guys to know that Thule, that's on USC team, is the nation's sack leader right now. And he came up with 2 sacks. And listen, I see some great things from Corey Foreman. I was surprised. I didn't even know Corey was going to play because I know he was out. But Corey looked like, I think this was the game. If you wanted to get your confidence back, get your confidence now. And Corey, man, he showed up big. Solomon Byrd showed up big. Stanley showed up big. Tyrone Taleni showed up big. I'm telling you, all of a sudden, our line appears to be getting ready to get some confidence as we go into this game this week. These guys showed up big. And, man, I couldn't be more thrilled from an offensive side of the ball and the defensive side of the ball coming into this game. this Saturday. I mean, I can do backflips right now. I'm telling you,
Now,
because that's how excited I was and how confident I was. What's your thoughts, John?
hey, don't be trying to backflip with that calf.
Hey man, I got to tell you, I'm lost in the sauce, man. I tore my tendon, man. For you guys that don't know, right now you guys can't see me, but I'm limping like crazy. I thought I was Michael Jordan. I thought I was gonna try to dunk on somebody, and I tore my calf muscle. But what's your thoughts on the defense, John?
I'm not trying to dunk on nobody, man. Rest up. Yeah, so I'm proud of our defense. I'm really proud of them. Especially because from my perspective and looking down at the field, I was telling my wife while we were at the game, I was like, look at the energy of our young players on the sideline.
Yeah.
Look at that sideline, look at our sideline. And our defensive guys were dapping each other up. They was doing like the, clubbing each other's arms. Just kind of in it. And you could just tell that it was going to be like a little bit of a coming out party for some of these guys to feel like, look, man, at this stage of the season, there's no more going back. There's no more regressive steps. There's no more backwards movements on the chessboard. Like now we're attacking and we're going to get the queen and we're going to checkmate this thing.
Yeah.
I hated to see Max Williams go out. Like,
I hated that.
Blindside block could have easily been a personal foul. There was a shoulder, but there was also a helmet in there. And I watched it 4 times. I said, that's helmet to helmet, even though the leg with the shoulder, his helmet still hit him. And then he got taken out and they didn't call it, period. No, not only that, but when you hit a defenseless player like that, that's a personal foul in this era. Now, I'm not hollering about play football less physical and less aggressive, but I'm saying if you're going to call it one way and protect a team, call it for us too when we need our guys protected, because that Colorado dude, he laid our player out and it was a blindside hit, which are frowned upon in this era of college football. Now, but for his replacement to come in and Bryson Shaw now giving us 3 games of hardware for us to assess him, he can play, man. Like he can really play. I'm a little nervous, and not because he can't do it, because CV's a baller. Like CV's a baller, but he gets so aggressive coming downhill when he's playing spy. Sometimes he can get outflanked because he really wants to make contact. I just hope that he can slow play a little bit more this week to make DTR go lateral instead of vertical. And I think if we can do that, because Sierra was playing lockdown, Jacoby was playing lockdown.
Absolutely.
Definitely Makai was like our corners looked like they had a rebound game. Obviously we got the best. I think we got one of the best, if not the best, safety in the country.
Man, he had another pick, man. Another one.
That would have been 5, and he's could have had 8 picks this year, man. Would have been 5 had they not taken the one from Utah from him, and he would have been probably an All-American candidate with that. That 5th pick. But he's still in the mix. So let's talk about it. You got Will Anderson from Alabama, who's a baller. You got all dudes who they swear are so good. The defensive end from Ohio State, he's a baller. But I don't hear them screaming about our own Thule that way. But Thule's leading the nation.
He's leading the nation.
And I don't get it. Because not only did he have 2 sacks, but he had a sack fumble. Fumble, we recovered it. And he had a half of a sack that led to a safety. That matters. That man put 2 points on the board, to a sack, and 2 sacks and a forced fumble. That's defensive player of the week for sure. It should be. And he probably had like 6 tackles. I love what I've seen. We seen contrary. Now I'm not gonna say contrary to all the games, but some of the games we've seen I don't think I remember a game this year where I've seen all the guys as active at the same time in the defensive front. Because like I said, I seen Solomon Byrd, I seen Thule, I seen Stanley, I seen Tellini. It's like they all put it together, and we've seen a very active defensive line. And listen, you talking about Lincoln Riley said November is the time that everybody's going to wake up, everybody's going to make it happen. And listen, this is the time to be critical. And it appears the light bulb came on on Friday,
and all the guys at the same time seem to have put it together. I know it's Colorado, but listen, we need them all to come together because you practice like you play. And listen, you're going to put that together for UCLA, all those guys on the defensive front coming together. And you spoke about Mekhi Blackman. I've seen him with, man, listen, the Colorado receiver's about to catch a ball in bounds, and Mekhi Blackman came and laid wood on that guy. I don't know how well you could see that from where you were sitting, but could you see that?
It was awesome. It was
yeah.
Awesome. He put homeboy in, like he hit him with the Doctor Strange magic.
Yeah.
Levitate out of bounds, like he threw him.
Yeah.
And so, look, that was his former team.
Yeah. Him and Brendan Rice.
So him and Brendan had a little bit of they really wanted to make certain.
Yeah.
Was up, and you could tell like there was a little John going on, and he was just kind of like really chill. And so the number 2 that took over Brendan's number was doing a whole bunch of jaw jacking at Colorado like he was talking punch on the field, and I could just see I could see Mekhi like, all right, whatever. And then the new number 6, Mekhi Blackman's number. Them dudes was talking so much smack. The guys that used to wear the other jerseys or the jerseys players, they was talking the most. And it just let me know how spirited this stuff is and how it can be really personal when you play your friends, when you play your teammates. Like it can be really, really personal. But either way, man, I just like how our young men handled the whole thing. I like the resolve. I think the defense stood up when our offense was really gassing out in the first quarter. Like if this was 2 or 3, even the last 4 games, our defense was the same. Man, that first quarter we could have been down 21-2.
Yeah, absolutely.
We could have been down 21-2 if we'd have started that defensively the way we started these past few games. So I'm very glad that while the defense was standing strong, it gave the offense an opportunity to put the pieces together, and then we finally got going.
Absolutely. And we've seen that another game. We've seen that. And here's the thing. It seems like at times either we're all the way on with offense or we're all the way on with defense. And we've seen that with Oregon State, how the defense held it down and the offense wasn't producing at the same time. Now, here's the thing. I think this Saturday coming up, I think this is going to be the Saturday where we're going to see all things hitting on all cylinders, offensively, defensively. I believe that's where we're at right now, just given the fact that we've seen all those guys come together. I really believe this UCLA game is going to be the game, and then we're going to follow that with Notre Dame. But this is going to be the game where everything's going to be put together. And I really believe that this is going to be on both sides of the ball. What you thinking?
It has to be. It just has to be. And we need Raylan. We need Raylan Goforth to really like hold that middle down, man. If Eric cannot play, we need Raylan to hold that down. We need some very physical gameplay on this upcoming receiver, Bobo. I mean, and I don't know if Kashmir Allen's going to play, but he's a really speedy back from UCLA. And I'm not trying to – I mean, Colorado's done. I know this is our Colorado recap, but we also have to broadcast into next week. But we've got some tough matchups coming up. Defensively, I think we can expose them in a lot of ways. Like, just look at what Arizona did with their mobile quarterback.
Sure.
And I believe our quarterback, he might be a step slower, but I do believe that the arm talent and the decision making and the escapability is the same level. Because man, Caleb really breaks a lot of tackles, man.
Yeah. Well, you're speaking about the running. Friday night, we seen a little bit. I think it was a little bit of a wrinkle more so than what we usually seen with Caleb, and that's the play action. He pulled the ball in, and then he ended up running it. Yeah. I think Caleb really. I think that kind of opened up. They didn't open it up all the way, but I think that was a new wrinkle that could really cause some problems because they do it. DTR and them do it, so we can do it as well. If they want to try to trick us, we can do the same thing. But we got a better quarterback we got a better quarterback that can do it. Jay, what you think, man? hey, you want to play them games? We're gonna play them too. You know what I mean? That's how it's gonna be. You think you're gonna get out of this thing? No way. If you're gonna have to run, you want to run our defensive linemen all over the field, we're gonna run till y'all throw up. Bottom line, straight up. And that's how we're gonna do it with Caleb, man. You know,
why you saying like they try to trick us?
hey, I'm saying, you want to do the trickery, we can do it too. Now, if you want to play straight up, we can play that. We can see who got the better arm. Caleb's gonna sit there and have the better arm. But if you want to do the trickery, guess what? We know how to do it too.
It's so funny. Big bro is like, anything you can do, we can do.
Yeah, we can do the same thing.
Oh, man, that was so real. That was just an honest, like that's how bad little kids talk. Man, you try to trick us, I'm gonna trick you too. So funny. But you're right. But the truth is like you're right. Like in all fairness aside, that's what that's designed for. It's designed for you, to trick your eyes, to get you to step up, to get you to play late into your pass coverages. And so I agree. Our quarterback, I think, is a little more savvy. It was weird when Miller Moss and Barlow tried to do it. They fumbled on the first exchange.
Yeah.
We recovered it. Thank God.
Yes.
We recovered it because that could have been a huge momentum swing.
Yeah.
What I am going to say is I believe that now that we understand that Caleb now is going to get more reps with Barlow, Raleigh, and Austin, it does.
Yeah.
Again, it's an interesting thing that you notice about Caleb Williams. When you take a piece off his board, that's when his brain becomes more creative.
That's what I was really making. I'm glad that you're bringing that up. That's what I was making reference to, man.
And then you can start to see the mastery level execution that he has in his bag. Like his arsenal to like overcome adverse situations is very high. His propensity to like troubleshoot and navigate struggle is really unique. And he's
a problem solver on the field, man.
Very strong critical.
He's a problem solver, big time.
That's one of the best definitive things we can say. He's a very great problem solver. He's a very strong critical thinker. And for the most part, his decision-making has been very sound, particularly with how young he is in college experience.
Absolutely.
We can't pretend like this is not his sophomore year where he's played 20, now it's like 20 games. Right. And he threw his 50th career touchdown. 50 career touchdowns in less than 2 seasons.
Yeah.
Bro, think about that. That boy's in his bag. He really is.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that now that we get to see these running backs and let them feel a more part of the game, because I tell you what, the running game creates momentum, energy.
Man,
it just does. When there's very strong, explosive runs, the whole field opens up. And so we need those backs to be able to do that. And I'm glad Austin Jones got wrinkled back into the mix. Games ago, to where you saw him out there and he was just like, okay, man, I'm a senior. I played a lot of football in my life up until this point, and this is my moment. I hated to see my bro get taken out, but this is how I got to do this for myself, my family, the squad. And when he scored, he threw up to 2-6. You saw him pay to Travis. So those are the types of things that I love to see.
You know, I'm so glad when you're speaking on Austin. I'm so glad. I'm just sitting here thinking, I'm so glad that, you know, any championship team, you've been on these championship teams. By the way, if you guys haven't seen, I posted a clip of John. He had 2 interceptions at a game. That was when USC was ranked #1. Go back and check that out. You played on national championship teams, #1 teams, and you know, it's so much depth on those teams, and sometimes you can kind of get discouraged. You know, you're sitting back there, you know, Travis Dye's getting the run. But as to your point, you know, Austin Jones came in. Barlow, God knows, we hadn't seen Barlow. Barlow seemed like he was lost in all the sauce. But, man, Barlow came out there. He was running so hard, man. And I'm just like, man, you know what? I'm so proud of Darwin Barlow, man. Yes. People don't remember that when Darwin Barlow was at TCU, he was a starter as a freshman. They were kind of rotating him out with another running back, I believe. And I went back and looked at some of his clips. Man, Darwin Barlow is really good, man. He's that guy. And, you know, but all these guys to not sit there and pout and to still be able to be in the mix and be ready to go when it's time to go once Travis Dye get out. This really speaks volumes to the culture right now, to the staff, to everybody that's there. And I'm telling you, it's so many points I got out of this game until I don't even know what to do with myself right now, because I've seen so much positive vibes to where I'm thrilled right now. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I'm elated. I'm overjoyed. I'm proud. I feel like our squad understands how to be resourceful. And I also feel like it's heartbreaking to know that you're a capable athlete, but you're not a featured or premier player in the game plan. It is. You guys don't know psychologically what that does to a
Yeah.
player who's pretty much and most likely have been the main player or the star from wherever they were from their whole life. Like that is a unique, very, very challenging course to navigate. But for these athletes at this stage, at this phase of the season, under those circumstances, to step into these moments and capitalize on them, but not just capitalize. There's one thing to capitalize on a situation and to take advantage of an opportunity, but there's another thing to make it work better. There's another thing to actually prove that there's more efficiency when you come in. It's another thing, and I'm not saying none of this to shade or slight anyone. What I'm saying is you can tell how challenging it was for Colorado's defense to get a hold of all three of the backs, to understand how to work and tackle each of them, from release, second level first, and his like shiftiness, to Austin Jones' kind of steadiness, and then like has a little bit of wiggle with a thump, and then to Barlow, who's way more agile than you think and can get up into the open field, catch the ball, and lay his hat on you. Those, and then he gets airborne. These are things that are really tough. And if you don't have enough game film, you're playing against a mystery man. And that mystery player is doing things that you didn't train for. It's a real thing.
Real talk.
Congratulations to everybody who stepped in. Congratulations again to Jonah Monheim. I saw you make one little mistake in that game, and then I saw you capitalize on it and dominate again, which I believe that you're about to be one of the best linemen in the Pac-12 the next year, and then you're going to be an All-American, I think. I'm speaking it now. Also, you know who should Gino Quinones.
My goodness.
He was driving dudes 5, 6, 7, 8 yards
I'm
down.
telling you, this game really, it's like everything's starting to come together, man. And I'm so happy, man.
It really, really did. And man, hopefully we get Damani back. I don't know if we'll see Damani. Maybe I don't know if we'll see him, but he was looking strong on the sideline, like he was available. But I don't think he's quite there yet. So yeah, there's so much to take away from this game. Most of it is, here's my number one: we can't start like we did offensively. We just can't.
No way. No.
I think we got to set the tone in the run game, mix in our passes when we can, our short yardage stuff that we like to do to get Caleb in a rhythm. But I do believe that this UCLA matchup, if we don't come with the right spirit and game plan, we can make this game way more painful than it needs to be.
Yes.
I also can see where we can dominate these boys completely.
Yes, and you know, you guys know that we're gonna do a preview about this game coming up this week, this Thursday, and so let's see. Krisna says Austin Jones, Raleek Brown, Darwin Barlow, exciting running backs, and listen. We talked about Barlow, we talked about Austin Jones. Let me just really speak about Raleek. I've seen his one run early on in the game, kind of like what you were saying about Gino, but one run where he kind of took it outside where I looked and seen that it looked like it could have went on the inside. But let me tell you something. Raleek started hitting that hole so fast once he got that ball, man. And I'm telling you, and then to hit him out, was it a screen or what was that? Was that a screen and he got that touchdown?
Like a little flare.
Yeah, like a flare. But man, Raleek turned on the Jets. And man, listen, we should be very excited. We can add all types of wrinkles that a lot of people hadn't seen this week. Well, this year, really, with all three running backs. Man, do you think we could just it's hard to not get in the rhythm. You have to get in the rhythm as a running back. But do you think that we could utilize them the same way, or would you rather see just one or two running backs? I mean, the way we've seen it.
I really believe we need all three.
Yeah, they look good together, man. All three of them look good.
I really believe you need all three, and I think that's a challenge for linebackers, because let's think about it. When you bring Raleek in the game, he has the ability to line out and flex him out as a wideout, and if they're in man coverage, that's a good matchup for us.
Yeah.
Like Raleek out there in the slot or somewhere out there like the X or the Z or something like that, and then you got a thumper like Barlow who really does get great short yardage pounds. Those 3rd and 4s, those 3rd and 2s, that's the type of running back you need for that. And Austin Jones has proven all season long that he's a hybrid player. For the most part, he does catch the ball well out of the backfield. It's not like none of those backs have butterfingers. None of those backs really make too many mental mistakes. And I think that the more you allow them to get into a game and get some sweat and get some cuts and bruises on their arms and let them feel the burn of the game, that's when you're going to allow them to like reinvigorate their competitive spirit, and they will produce. I just don't know about the ball security from everybody. I know Travis is a very ball conscious running back. He holds the ball well. I just want to see that from the other backs, and then I think we'll be just fine.
Yeah. One guy said, Hall says, Barlow reminds me of Lindell White. Lindell was bigger, but he says, what you think?
He's got some of the same tackle breaking and some of the same like downhill instincts, but Lindell had very, very quick feet. Most guys don't know that Lindell, people called him Thunder, but bro, he used to juke everybody.
Like, I know. Yeah.
Hey, people called him Thunder, but Lindell used to have a crazy spin move that was like dumb. And because he was so big and he had a broad midsection, like his trunk was strong. Like when you try to wrap him, he would spin. And that was just a hard thing to do. I see Barlow. Barlow more so reminds me of
CJ Gable or something like that.
Not quite Gable, but it was a back before that. He reminds me a little bit of more like a Chauncey Washington and like a
Stephon Johnson at all.
Stephon Johnson, Alan Bradford. That's what I'm really.
Bradford, okay. Bradford was pretty big. Bradford was like 230 though, right?
Yeah, but the style that they run with, where it's
right.
Where it's like I can get you to commit to collision and then make a move on you. It's not pop you, right? So I like that. I like that. I like the diversity in the running back.
I love it, man. I love it.
And I like that our offense knows that they're the best offensive line in the country.
They really are, man. They really are. So it's a comment from Check the Contract. Why? I don't know, man. I noticed some different comments. I'm not gonna speak on the two, but he said, "Why was Petro hating on Raleigh for the size?" You were. I don't know if you heard some of the commentary that was going on, but I don't know what was going on. It was different, but I have no idea.
Hey, you can't speak on it. I mean, Petros is a true SC guy. He really is.
He played running back. Yep.
Hey, he's a homer. He really is. And I think when he's commentating on for USC games, he has to try to balance it out. He tries not to be like a homer. But I know I know him very well.
Yeah.
I used to eat at his restaurant often, his family's restaurant when they had it. Listen, Petros loves USC football.
Yeah.
But when he's commentating at USC games, he's very conscious about making sure that he doesn't seem so one-sided. one-sided. So he'll throw in a little bit of what we might perceive as shade, but at the same time, deep down inside, he's very much rooting for USC. Now, what I will say about Raleigh, who cares about size? Raleigh does remind me of a bigger, slightly stronger Darren Sproles.
Yeah,
he reminds me of that type of a back where it's boom. But I think Sproles might be a step faster, but Raleigh has a little bit more pop and explosiveness. And he has some yards after catch or yards after contact that I really am impressed with. Raleigh.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So listen, man, we wanted to come on here and we kind of want to address the Colorado game and address the Oregon and UCLA game. We got 133 people in here, man. We appreciate everybody for coming in and tapping in today, man. Listen, this is Victory Sunday, man. We have a lot to be thankful for. I know that I'm very anxious to see what the AP poll is going to say. I know the coaches poll has USC number 6 now. So we're going to see what the AP poll has to say. And then, of course, on Tuesday, we want to see as well with the college football playoffs. I mean, this thing can really be huge. Depending on, now the AP poll and the coaches poll really doesn't matter. It's really what matters on Tuesday. And so we're going to see exactly how they're going to put USC. If that, I don't want to see one thing I don't want to see, Alabama beat Ole Miss. I don't want to see Alabama hop USC because I know the bias type of stuff that they got. But here's what I think. USC needs to hop over LSU. LSU was lost in the sauce playing against Arkansas yesterday, who lost against Liberty yesterday, last week, who Liberty just lost against, was it Connecticut? Oh, yesterday, one of those teams. So let me tell you something, man. I don't want to hear anybody talk about anything because the SEC is always gets their just due, and it's not right. So LSU struggled, man. I thought Arkansas was going to be able to pull that game out. It was 10 to, it ended up being 10-13, and I think if you guys want to hop over people over, if it's week by week, hop us over them, because I mean I would think that would only be fair and square. So before we close out, John, what you had to say?
Yeah, I guess my last thing is, again, I know we did cover this, but I just pray for healing and you know Travis Dye and his family and his
Absolutely.
wife.
He's married too, so yeah, his whole family.
Because this is, I mean, he's to have these types of injuries this late in the season when you have to prepare for the combine, get ready for the NFL. Like, guys, let's go thoughts and prayers out to him sincerely. Like, these are not just players, man. These are humans. These are people.
Humans, man.
They're young men that have dreamed for these moments their whole lives. He took a huge gamble and he bet on us. He left the squad where he was definitely, I mean, had he stayed at Oregon, look at the type of great season he would have had. They might be undefeated if he was still on their team. Like, really think about the loss that they got hit with by him coming over to us. I just honestly, man, I was holding back tears watching him get carted off the field.
It was hard. It was hard to watch, man. It was hard.
So sincerely, prayers out to him and all of the young men that have got injured this week. But as a USC body, we got to really support our people. Flood his inbox with love. I think his Instagram handle is like baby die or baby Travis die, something like that. But just show the love and the support that he most certainly deserves, because I guarantee you his heart is broken in a lot of ways. Outside of that, thank you guys for joining us again. We'd love to come to you guys on these victory moments, and this is the beginning of a new Trojan regime. Don't try to cause more conflict and more strife than this team already needs to deal with. Positive energy breeds positive results. You want to talk about the defense? Say something positive, because there's never just negative. There's always been, throughout this whole season, great things that have been happening in the midst of the struggles on both sides of the ball in all phases. So how about we make a conscious decision from the beginning of this week all the way through game day when we play the Bruins? How about we decide to just edify the squad, speak as a collective about how positive we are feeling about this upcoming game, and let's put that energy out there, and let's let our kids, I'm going to call them kids, the loved ones who watch these games, who want to become Trojans, plus the Trojans that are playing, who do this, and they follow and they read the comments on social media. How about we give them something positive to read about? How about we encourage them? How about you give some shout outs to some of these guys who have been silently contributing? Because I'm going to tell you something about this USC team. We have been like carbon monoxide all year, slowly strangling out our opponents. Yep. It's a silent but deadly killer. And we've been slowly gassing them out to where I believe that we're going to choke out and strangle out the rest of the defense. And excuse my aggressive terminologies, but that's what I believe. I believe from my heart that from the beginning we've been a silent killer. We've been absolutely a deadly bomb that's just slowly ticking to the point where boom. And I know still that we haven't even shown our whole offense. I know still we got defensive wrinkles that we can mix in there. So let's keep the USC body stronger than ever going into this rivalry week. You see what it is. You see what I got in my background. I'm that for life, and I need y'all with me. Let's rock and get it.
Absolutely, man. So listen, man. Hey, we appreciate once again for everybody for tapping in, man. And look, man, we will get back. Well, I will get back this week tomorrow, and I'm gonna do all the college football playoffs, the rankings, the recruitings, all these different things. Because listen, this was a big recruiting weekend as it relates to winning. Because you look at Texas A&M, they lost in the barbecue sauce once again, all the way, man. I mean, Texas A&M is having some serious issues. Now they can't even get bowl eligible now. That's how you talk about the number one rank. Oh, let me say this real quick before we get off. I want to talk to you guys about something.
Speak up.
I gotta say that But anyway, we gotta talk about some things, man. But because this is gonna be a whole nother thing. But anyway, and I know you got to go, and I want you to get to where you got. So listen, man, we appreciate everybody for tapping in, man. And listen, until tomorrow, I got something I'm bringing to you tomorrow, and all week long. And me and John, of course, we'll be back Thursday. So listen, man, we appreciate everybody for tapping in. And listen, everybody have a blessed day. Continue to keep Travis Dye and his family lifted up in prayer. And until tomorrow, man, everybody continue to fight on, fight on, fight on.
Congratulations on predicting that score.
Oh, you were closer. Were you closer to me though, right? I think you were closer.
We were both. I said 52 to 17.
52 to 17. And I said 50 to 14.
Yeah.
Yeah, both of us were real close, man. So listen, man, we appreciate it. Hey, that was close. So we're going to have another one coming up this week. Until then, fight on, fight on, fight on.